question because there's so much attrition with teachers in the profession. And as I was putting that presentation together, I thought about my great-grandma. My great-grandma used to always bake sweet potato pies. And for years I watched her bake these pies. I watched her make the filling. I saw the whole shebang. And what that made me think about was, if I'm thinking now, like, how do those two ideas go together? Teacher retention and sweet potato pie. Like, what does one have to do with the other, right? But the thinking was, if I want to figure out how to make a sweet potato pie, I learn from the one who knows how to make it, right? If I want to retain teachers in the profession, I learn from the ones who've been there a while. And so that's the hook. That was my hook. How do we figure this out? We go to the source. We use the resources that we have. And so that becomes the hook. So if you can find a hook for your presentation, what is the thing that's going to make people go, oh, then you want to do that, because you want your audience to have an aha moment, like, I get it, I see now. Okay, so that's my hook, and I use a sweet potato pie in a number of presentations. So there you go. I found a way to put it in this one. Okay, all right. So path to a powerful presentation. When we look at delivery, and we said this before, have confidence in what you know because you do know it. You want to connect with your audience. Look at them. I want you to see me. I want to see you. I want to make sure that I'm connecting with you on a level outside of just talking to you. Okay? I want to be approachable. I know we're researchers, but we're still humans, and we want to have that human touch, right? So we want to do that. We want to speak clearly. We want to use natural gestures. I always say that I think, and this is not proven true in my ancestry DNA test, but I always thought that I had some kind of Italian something in me, because it is so hard for me to talk without if you tied my hands behind my back, I don't think I could talk. I just don't. And so my hand gestures are just natural, and I think that could be my theater background and that kind of thing. But again, it shows your human side. So be human when you're presenting. Use appropriate language. Acknowledge mistakes. I told you guys I was going to put numbers on the booklets, and I put asterisks. I acknowledge that right up front. You're not mad at me because I didn't do numbers right? Right? You're mad because I didn't put numbers? Okay, there you go. Because I acknowledge that mistake. Know that the technology might not work. Have a plan B. And then do as little. Now, here's the thing. I've had this PowerPoint slide going, right? You notice I have not done a lot of reading of the slides, right? I know there's writing up there, but I know also that you are educated people and you can read, right? And so I don't need to read to you. I don't need to read for you, but I need to be as connected to my information so that I don't necessarily have to read unless I want to go back and point something out in particular, right? Because if I'm reading, the content is yours. Have confidence, make eye contact, make natural gestures, speak. Who am I talking to? Right? So I'm not connecting in that place. I'm making no connections with you. So again, you want to make your PowerPoint or whatever you're using as the vehicle for your presentation, that's your frosting. I call it frosting. I have food analogies, okay? So the PowerPoint's your frosting. Don't make it the cake. Okay? Don't make it the cake. Don't make the presentation about the PowerPoint slide. Make it the frosting. It's the icing on the cake. Okay? All right? Also, so your slideshow. Again, I've seen good slideshows today. Thank you. Because some slideshows, I don't know if you've seen some bad ones, but I've seen some crazy slideshow presentations. People with graphs that have lines and then blocks and then scattered plots and just putting everything into a slide is not good. Different colors, red and green and orange and yellow and let me be able to read the slide. Let me be able to interpret when I need to interpret it. People sometimes try to put too much into a slide. Like this right here, this is more words than I usually want, but again, I'm not reading to you, I'm letting you read for yourself. Slides, okay, too busy, okay. Then, all right, so here's a way to compare. Just as you're going through this conference, as you go to other conferences, a way to compare to see a good, sort of good presentation from a great presentation. Okay, so how can we tell the difference? In a good presentation, yes, you know your stuff because you're intellectuals. Of course you know your material. However, in a great presentation, you're involved with your content. This morning, I saw some presentations where the presenters were involved in their content. They knew it to a degree that they could involve us in their content. You know a great presentation when it goes over time because people are asking questions. If it's silent at the end of your presentation, you might need to rethink that a little bit. Right? Because you want people to experience it, and then they have questions, and then you know what? You're the expert. You can give them some answers, or we can have a discussion about whatever it is you're talking about. So again, the best presentations elicit questions and commentary and discussion. That's when you know you've had a great presentation. And there's other stuff on this list too, but the other thing that I want to also say is that you leave your attendees with something. Leave them with the takeaway, whether it's a thought, an idea, a story, a piece of paper like a workbook, something that will, again, connect them to what you have given them. That is a marker of a great presentation. When people go home and say, you know what, she talked about sweet potato pie, I didn't even know why. That's a mark of a great presentation. You know, when the science fiction guy, who has other kinds of skills as well, he's a professor and all that stuff, but he talked about science fiction, and I'm gonna go home and watch The Martian again, that's a sign of an effective presentation. That was a great presentation because now I'm doing something outside of the presentation, but the presentation was the impetus for me to do it, right? So again, these are just some signs. I can make this PowerPoint presentation available to you. I can get emails and whatnot and send this to you if you'd like to use this information. All right. Takeaways. All right, so the Clute Institute does such a great job in thinking about us as conference attendees. And so when you see them, thank them for thinking of you, because they really do. They're very thoughtful in putting these conferences together. So as an attendee, be in touch with what you came here for. You know, some people go to conferences and they might go to the first day and then they blow off the rest of the conference. They go shopping, they do whatever, when they could be at another presentation learning some more stuff. Take advantage of the opportunities that you have at this conference. Not saying don't go shopping, but I'm saying if there's a but if there's a presentation going on that you want to know more about, then you put shopping off for later and go to the presentation. Don't throw your money away. Right. Go to some support. Let's support one another. That's really what that's all about. Supporting. Okay. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. When I walk around these halls, I try to smile at people. Because I'm having a good time. I want you to have a good time. The Clutes want you to have a good time, okay? Presenters, know your stuff, keep the audience in mind, all that stuff that I'll need to read, okay? Final thought. So evaluation is the last thing on my mind. Every presentation is evaluated by peer. And yes, evaluation is an important thing, but having the opportunity to share your research with like-minded people is a wonderful gift. Whether your presentation gets best presentation or not, you have shared your research and you have made an impact. You will have made an impact on a group of people who didn't know that before you presented. And for that, you are to be commended. I think, give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, question, comment. So if you've already presented, you know, but if you're getting ready to present, you might want to think about something. Questions? Okay, well here comes Stephanie, so it's like, okay, Dee. It's all over anyway. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me and allowing me this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Dr. Parker. So sessions will start here in the next few minutes. So if we can get everything wrapped up and then head on to your sessions. And then for anybody who signed up for high tea this afternoon, high tea will be in here right after the session has concluded. And we'll get you checked in at the door. Thank you.